Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are taking you right out there, straight to the edge of known space.
Yeah, strapping in.
We are strapping into the Enterprise E, where there's this really audacious mission going on, breaching the absolute perimeter of the Milky Way, the legendary galactic barrier.
This is definitely a deep dive into limits, both, physical limits and moral ones. Our sources lay out this really high-stakes scenario. You've got cutting-edge experiment from Professor Lem Faal, a scientist, brilliant, but tragically kind of fueled by his own failing health.
Right.
And what makes it so intense is the immediate, powerful opposition to this push.
Yeah, who pushes back?
Some of the biggest players in the cosmos, specifically the omnipotent Q Continuum, they show up almost instantly.
And the Q aren't just, complaining. They are actively trying to shut this whole thing down.
Right.
And they've got these, strange allies, too. So we're going to distill the pretty complex science behind actually penetrating this barrier, explore the forces fighting back, including these mysterious gaseous beings, the Calamarain. And crucially, we're going to uncover the, frankly, shocking origin story behind Q's whole history of meddling with humanity.
It all ties together.
Yeah, our mission today is figuring out why is this barrier so important that the Q would risk, everything to keep it intact.
Okay.
Let's unpack this mission to the edge.
First thing, we absolutely have to understand the barrier itself. It's not just a physical wall in space. No. The sources, they describe it as this shimmering reddish-purple ribbon, energy, yes, wrapping the entire galaxy. And it's definitely a physical hazard to ships, but here's the kicker, the big scientific reveal. It has a profound psychic component.
Okay, that's the key thing, isn't it? Not just plasma, but a field of thought.
Exactly. Fail's research, which is pretty revolutionary, suggests this extragalactic energy field. That's the barrier. It's made of energies that are equivalent, maybe even identical to the Great Barrier.
The one at the galactic core.
The very same. That huge energy field right at the center of the Milky Way.
Huh. So if you look at the galaxy's layout, it's like the universe built limits at both the inside and the outside edge.
That's what it implies, yeah. That the barrier isn't just random cosmic weather. It's more like a fundamental, maybe even designed cosmic law.
Oh, no.
And that psychic aspect is the real danger. We know from historical accounts that ships trying to cross it often experience, devastating mental and emotional effects on the crew.
Okay, so who would be crazy enough or maybe audacious enough to try and punch a hole through a fundamental cosmic law?
Right. Enter Lem Faal. He's a middle-aged betazoid specialist in applied physics. He has this slightly distracted academic vibe, you know? But that distraction, it comes from somewhere deep and personal. Desperation, really.
Okay. What's driving him?
He's suffering from Iverson's disease. It's debilitating him fast. He needs frequent hyposprays just to keep working.
So he's literally racing against time.
Exactly. A genius working against his own body's clock. That urgency, that's where his whole drive comes from. His own mortality is staring him right in the face.
And the tech he's proposing reflects that urgency, that complexity. His plan is basically to make an artificial wormhole, but temporary.
Yeah. How does he plan to do that? Sounds impossible.
Well, he wants to target these tiny imperfections in the barrier. He called them, quite beautifully actually, leaks in a dam.
Leaks in a dam. Okay, so precision is key.
Oh, the precision needed is, it's almost unbelievable. This isn't about brute force. He's using a modified quantum torpedo.
Yeah.
Inside, it's got a magneton pulse generator.
Okay.
But the real challenge is tuning it. They have to get the torpedo shields to match the barrier's energy amplitude perfectly. And that amplitude, it's constantly shifting, fluctuating.
Like trying to tune a radio in a hurricane.
Exactly. If they nail the frequency and the sources really stress exactly right, then the magneton pulse reacts with a subspace tensor matrix that the Enterprise projects.
And that reaction?
It temporarily stabilizes that crazy energy field, just for a moment, creating this tiny pathway of normal space through to the other side.
Wow.
But one tiny mistake, one wrong twitch in the tuning, and, you probably lose the ship.
So why? Why risk everything on something so incredibly volatile? It can't just be scientific curiosity driving this.
No, not at all. The main driver is Fail's grief. Deep, profound grief. His wife died, tragically, in what's described as a freak transporter accident.
Oh, wow.
And that event just cemented this total contempt he has for what he calls mortal frailty.
Ah, so breaking the barrier isn't just exploration for him.
Far from it. He sees it as like overcoming the inherent frailties of our weak humanoid bodies. He wants to become something superior.
Like an evolutionary shortcut.
Yes. Effectively achieving a form of immortality.
Mm.
He's trying to force this immediate, radical evolutionary leap using technology, pushing past biology, past physics.
Okay, that level of, well, psychological instability, leading a massive experiment like this, surely people noticed.
They did. Counselor Troy tries to get an empathic reading on Fala, but she hits a wall.
He blocks her even though she's Betazoid too.
Yep, his own telepathic gifts are just too powerful. She's completely blocked.
But she must have sensed something.
Oh, yeah. She picks up on this flicker of insincerity, a definite feeling that he is holding something back. It's almost like this silent psychic struggle between them.
And Engineer LaForge, he worked closely with Fallow, right? He must have seen things.
He got the closest look, yeah. He actually witnessed Fala just explode in anger, called Lieutenant Barclay an imbecile.
Barclay, why?
Because Barclay nearly damaged the core component of the experiment. This incredibly delicate thing, a mononuclear strand of quantum filament.
Oh boy. So Faal, who's already sick and driven by grief, is flying into rages over equipment. That does not sound stable.
Not at all. The Forge even noted Faal making these really deep, almost dangerous philosophical comments. Things like, technology has usurped natural selection as the driving force of evolution.
Oof. That's intense.
Yeah, he's totally fixated on self-improvement, evolutionary self-engineering. LaForge actually confided that Faal started sounding a bit too much like a Borg.
Wow. Okay. That comparison is chilling. Pushing for forced evolution, hating mortal frailty, that is Borg language. But without any of the collective discipline, it sounds purely ego-driven.
And you see his priorities laid bare with his Beamley, too. He brought his kids on board, an 11-year-old son, Milo, and a toddler, Kenya.
On this mission.
Yeah, but he's so consumed by the experiment, he just ignores them. Completely. The sources say Milo felt bored and frustrated, verging on resentful, and worried, too, about his dad's health getting worse.
That's heartbreaking.
Falals even admits it to himself, realizing there was no room for the children in what remained of his life. The experiment was his life. Nothing else mattered.
And right about then, cue the cosmic interventions. Just as the Enterprise gets near the barrier, Q appears on the bridge.
Classic Q entrance.
Gesture.
But different this time.
Very different. This isn't playful Q. He gives Picard this really severe, sober warning. Don't even think about breaking the barrier. He calls the whole mission flat out a bad idea.
Just bad idea. That's serious coming from Q.
And he's not alone. He brought his family.
His family. Q has a family.
Apparently. A female Q, his mate, and, wait for it, a baby Q.
A baby Q. Are you serious?
That's what the sources say. They call him Little Q. And the mother, the female Q, she's actually nervous, worried about being a mother, calls it daunting.
Wow. Okay, that changes things. A Q worried about parenting.
It totally changes the dynamic. She reveals the baby is the literal embodiment of the ultimate potential of the Q.
The ultimate potential.
Yeah. So if Q is bringing his infant son, the literal future of his entire species, to warn Picard, the stakes just went through the roof. This isn't just Q worried about humans crossing some line.
No, this sounds like he's worried about what breaking the barrier might mean for the Q continuum itself. Existential stakes.
Exactly. But Q isn't the only one policing this boundary. Right before they launch the torpedo, the Enterprise detects this accelerating Tashan barrage.
Tashans.
From where? Data identifies the emissions. They're similar to a probe used by the Calamarain.
Ah, the Calamarain. Those giant space cloud beings. The gaseous life forms.
The very same. Infamous, massive. So the big opponents are Q and a giant cloud of angry philosophical gas.
It sounds absurd, but clearly they're serious.
Oh, they act immediately. The Calamarain just vaporized the first sensor probe LaForge sends out.
Okay, hostile response confirmed.
But this actually leads to a massive breakthrough. And guess who makes it?
Let me guess. It's Lieutenant Barclay. The guy Faal called an imbecile.
Bingo. Barclay analyzes the wreckage of the probe. He finds the biogel packs inside are glowing.
Glowing? Why?
Because they absorbed huge amounts of psionic energy directly from the barrier itself.
Psionic energy, so thought energy.
That's the confirmation. It proves the barrier is largely psychokinetic. It reacts to conscious thought.
Okay, that changes the whole game. It's not just physics anymore.
Not at all. And Data manages to rig up a modified translator, actually communicates with the Calamarain. The translations are cryptic, but clear enough.
What does it say?
Things like, Moda bits attenuates, no assistance release permitted, stop eliminate.
Stop or be eliminated. Pretty blunt.
And Troy senses their emotions underneath the words urgency of alarm mixed with fury.
So they're not just obstacles. They're acting as guardians, enforcers of this galactic limit. And they're working with Q.
It looks that way. The sources confirm they're actively protecting the barrier, perfectly aligned with Q's warning. The intervention seems coordinated. Q and the Calamarain upholding this boundary together.
Why? Why is this line so critical?
To explain that, Q takes Picard on a trip across time to explore Q's own very personal, very regrettable history.
The Q origin story we were promised. Where does he take him?
First stop, Tegus III, long ago. Q shows Picard a younger version of himself. This younger Q is watching the Mutru skydiver's ritual. Humanoids risking their lives, plunging into a lake, chased by these terrifying serpent creatures.
And how does young Q feel about this?
He's described as wistful and faintly envious. He feels trapped by the Continuum's rules, by their perfection, maybe. He sees these mortals risking everything for a thrill, and he envies their ability to feel danger, consequence.
He wants excitement.
He wants to do something bold, something magnificent, maybe even something a little bit dangerous. It's youthful rebellion, really. Kind of mirrors Faal's defiance, actually, just without the ticking clock of mortality.
Interesting parallel. Where next?
The ruins of the Guardian of Forever.
The Guardian. Wow. Okay, this is getting heavy.
This is where it all went wrong for Q. The young Q meets the stranger there, calls himself Zero, looks human-like but from elsewhere, and he has this physical limp.
A limp? What's that signify?
Q interprets it metaphorically, maybe. That Zero can't travel at superluminal speeds, maybe limited in some fundamental way. But the Guardian itself knows something's wrong. It issues this massive warning. Caution. Foreign entity does not conform to established parameters. Interference is not permitted.
A direct order from a cosmic entity. Don't touch.
But young Q, he's defined by his arrogance even then. He mutters, "No one tells me what to do."
Well,
Driven by pure defiance, that desire for something bold, he grabs Zero's arm and forces him through the time portal. There's this cataclysmic sound as the barrier between realities shatters.
he broke the Guardian's rule. He broke reality.
That single arrogant act, that was Q's original sin, you could say. And the stranger, Zero, once he's through, recovered, he immediately suggests they start testing lesser species, like humanity.
Setting Q on his whole path.
Yeah.
Messing with Picard, Voyager, all of it.
All of it. The older Q, standing there with Picard watching this unfold, he just confirms it was a horrendous mistake.
So Q's entire relationship with humanity, his meddling, his tests, it all stems from him breaking a fundamental universal boundary against explicit cosmic warnings.
Exactly. And now he sees humanity, specifically Faal, about to make the same kind of transgression at the galactic barrier. He's trying to stop us from repeating his own mistake.
Which means the mission.
The mission inevitably fails. The Enterprise experiment gets completely shut down by the Calamarain. They just keep attacking relentlessly.
And Faal, how does he take the failure?
He completely snaps, loses all control. He starts demanding Riker disintegrate them totally, calls the Calamarain a pile of stinking gases.
Wow.
He has to be escorted away by security in the end. His whole quest for immortality just dissolves into raving madness.
So the Cosmic Gatekeepers won.
They did. The Calamarain and Q, they were aligned. They upheld the limit, whether it was out of, a sense of protective duty for the galaxy, or in Q's case, maybe driven by deep personal regret and wanting to protect his own continuum. The boundary held firm.
It really brings us back to that central tension, doesn't it? Faal's desperate quest for evolution, trying to use technology to break a physical barrier, to escape being frail and mortal.
Yeah, and it led him straight into a confrontation with these established universal limits, personified by Q and the Calamarain.
And Q's own history shows the flip side. His youthful quest for excitement, for fulfillment, led him to break a moral and temporal boundary set by the Guardian.
Both seeking escape through defiance, one through tech, one through abusing power.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question for you, the listener, to think about. If the universe seems to build these limits, these barriers, at both the core and the edge of the galaxy, does that suggest boundaries aren't just obstacles? Could they be, like, necessary architectural features of reality itself?
And if they are fundamental, does raw power like Q's or advanced technology like Faal's truly offer any real escape from those universal laws? Or does defiance always come with a cost?
Something to definitely chew on.
Indeed.
Until the next deep dive.